Set. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Like Mother, Like Murder.
Like Mother, Like Murder. Welcome back to the update episode. Right on track. Ooh, I did it.
Ooh, get it, girl, get it, girl. Yes. So we had opera Heather the other day, and now we have the little rapper Heather right there.
That's right.
Welcome
I'm
back,
running out of
guys.
genres here.
No, you're not. It's endless. We're going to do bluegrass next week. We're going to do like rock the following week. And then we're going to get into like an indie punk. Just kidding. I have no idea what any of that would sound like, by the way. Hello and welcome. And guess what? Today is one of the episodes that we really like to do because it's a little laid back. We have some updates for you guys. We are going to do some shout outs of some other amazing podcasters. We're going to end with a Q&A. You know what I'm saying? Yeah? You're winking at me.
I do know what you're saying.
I wish everyone else could see that wink right there. Get it, girl. But before we get into that, are you winking or are you having a seizure right now? What's happening? Are you okay? Do I need to call 911?
No, I think I'm okay. I'm just, excited to give you these updates.
I need to hear them. There has been stuff going on. That is for sure. Before we get into that,
some stuff going
what
on.
you drinking over there? You got a Starbucks cup? Are you going to go to Starbucks every day, even though you have an espresso machine in your house?
I had my Nespresso this morning, and then my daughter, was on one. So I decided... I didn't decide, actually. Zach decided. He said, I need a extra coffee.
Love
so
it.
We drove ourselves through Starbucks. A little treat after our child
was on one. Yeah.
It's
you know what? I wasn't talking shit about it. I you know what? I think that came from a state of envy. I would love to go get myself a coffee, but your girl is poor right now. I need a job.
I know.
We have
to stop spending. We have to stop spending on the coffee. We spend way too much money on Starbucks. It's redonkulous. So yeah.
All right. That's your little PSA for everyone. Please make coffee at home.
Make your coffee at home.
Go drink that coffee, girl. Actually, do whatever you want.
I was going to say, do what makes you happy.
Yes. Go do you, boo. All right. Let's do this. We got some updates on some cases. Every once in a while, we like to jump in here and bring some stuff that's going on. And I know I'm eagerly awaiting for you to tell me the Kouri Richins update, which yes. I know we'll get into. But you have Jennifer Dulos up first? Is that what's going on there?
Some updates on Jennifer Dulos, right? So we last updated on Jennifer Dulos in March, so not too long ago, when Michelle Troconis was found guilty in connection to her murder.
Yes.
So we very first talked about this case back on episode 84, which was January of this year. But just to quickly recap, Jennifer Dulos was a mother of 5 who went missing in May of 2019. A week later, her estranged husband, who she was in the middle of a divorce and a custody case with, he was arrested. Long story short, Fotis dies in January of 2020 before he could be brought to trial for his charges of Jennifer's murder. But his girlfriend at the time, Michelle Troconis, she was also connected to the crime. She was arrested. She was charged. Like I said, in March, she was found guilty. Now, she has finally been sentenced. So this actually happened May 31st while we were in Nashville. So sorry I am a little late with the news, but, we've been dealing with CrimeCon. She was sentenced to 14 and a half years, followed by a 5-year probation for the total of 6 charges that she ended up having against her, which included the conspiracy to commit murder in connection with Jennifer Dulos's case. So there's still another trial, though, related to this case that's supposed to happen. Remember that a friend of Fotis's, Kent Mahwini, he was also charged with conspiracy, so he's also awaiting trial. And while I am glad for Jennifer's family and her, like I said, she was a mother of 5, that there is some small
Yeah.
piece of closure in this case, that Michelle Troconis has been found guilty and is now sentenced for her hand in Jennifer's disappearance and murder. It's unfortunate because they have still yet to locate Jennifer's remains. That was one thing that I was really hoping, could come out somehow in the trial.
Right.
That she still, her remains still haven't been found, and that's rough. One of the detectives on the case, he did give an interview after the Troconis sentencing, just with some of the other evidence that they, brought up during the trial, and he's still working on it. They are still trying to find Jennifer's remains, again, to just give any type of closure to the family. They deserve it. Jennifer deserves it. They're still looking, so that is awesome that they are doing that still for the family. But yeah, at least a little bit of closure in that sense for Jennifer Dulos's family.
Gotcha. Yeah, as much as we need the updates and definitely want to hear all about the justice being served and people getting sentenced rightfully so, that's the update I'm waiting for is where
Yeah.
is she? And it makes me
Mm-hmm.
so damn sad.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
Yeah,
All right.
it's rough. It's not for lack of trying. The
Right.
investigators, like I said, we talk a lot about investigations that just went horribly, horribly wrong. The investigators in this case were on it. They did really well, which says a lot because the area that this case was, did kind of span. And because Fotis had a business where he was in and out of houses and in and out of properties and this way, that way, the other, there's a lot of ground to cover. So I really do hope that, and they've covered a lot of ground, but unfortunately they still haven't found anything. So I'm just, that is also the update I'm waiting for, and I just hope it comes soon.
Yep. Same. I am actually going to be doing an update on a mother of 5 as well because most of my updates come in regards to the Crystal Rogers
Mm-hmm.
disappearance. You guys know how invested I am in this case. If you don't, it means you don't know me and you don't know anything I talk about on this. So if you're new here, welcome and go back and listen to everything Crystal Rogers. So she went missing in 2015. She has been missing. There is still no major update for you guys right now. There has been different arrests and different things that are happening. I'm not going through every single update that we've done, but right now, if you've been following along, they actually are going to be having court tomorrow. So Thursday morning, June 13th, they're having court with Steve Lawson. And there's 2 things that will be coming out of this. The first is Thursday, apparently Steve Lawson is trying to get his case just dismissed, which is comical to me, okay? And second is that Brooks Hauk wants his case to be tried separately from the Lawsons, which currently they were in the works to be doing the entire trials with all 3 of them together.
Like
so,
co-defendants.
Correct. And House's attorney is working to get them separated. Because they say that the Lawsons have fabricated their entire story and blah, blah, blah. No one cares what he has to say. So for me, it's hard because the fact that we have waited this long for things to start happening in Crystal Rogers' case is crazy to me. At the same time, I keep telling myself, at least it's finally happening because that's what's most important, right? So getting this shit bag to be held accountable for his actions.
For sure.
As well as hopefully finding out more answers and ultimately finding Crystal Rogers. Because just like Jennifer Dulos, her body has not been found. She has not been located. Her family is working every single just anything that I see where her mom is out there fighting and her family and the whole story is as twisted as it can be, you guys.
Yeah.
But that's the number one thing that we need as of right now is Crystal and them to finally. And there, to me, again, I will say there will be more arrests made. I don't know how other arrests have not been made yet, in my opinion. But with these 3 that are on trial, I mean, things just keep getting pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed. So I'm just waiting for that to actually follow through with and make some things happen and get some people locked up that deserve to be locked up.
Well, we will see what happens tomorrow in court.
Yes, we will.
Yeah. Yeah.
What you got next for me? Here we go with this crazy nutbag.
So this is going to be...
Okay, fine. I'll do the update. No, I'm just...
My head has been spinning with the amount of times I have seen Kouri Richins in the news in the last month. It's been this case. Wow. So
I don't know if it's... sorry, I have to say this, and this is probably going to be an unpopular thing that I say amongst many people who are listening right now. But it's funny how the more you hate somebody, the uglier they can be. Because, you know, she's not an ugly person. But the more that I see her in recent stuff, I'm just like, you get uglier every day, and I hate you.
No, so that's a real thing. That's not an unpopular opinion. That's a real ass thing that, like, someone can be physically pretty, but if you know certain things about them, like, when you see them, perception, what do they say? Right. Perception is 9/10 of the, like, same. Apt analysis, Rachel. Apt. So we gave some updates about this case back in January, but there has been a lot that has happened in the last 5-6 months. So if you aren't up to date, go back and listen to the original episode, which we put out about a year ago, in June of 2023. But just to do a quick case update, Eric Richins died in March of 2022, not even a month after he had a very serious reaction to a sandwich his wife Kouri had made him on Valentine's Day, a Happy Valentine's Day lunch sandwich that he then had to use an EpiPen and like chug some Benadryl. He passed out. He did eventually recover, wake up, and told his friends he's pretty sure that Kouri just tried to kill him.
Yep.
And then a few weeks later, he drank a Moscow Mule that Kouri had made him, and he then died. The cause of death was ruled as a fentanyl overdose. If I recall right, it was like 5 times the lethal amount of fentanyl. One reason that if this is not ringing a bell, this will ring a bell. After Eric died, Kouri wrote a children's book about grief and how to handle grief. She put it out, and then she is eventually arrested in connection to his death. She has been awaiting trial. So that kind of brings us up to the last couple of months. So in February, March of this year, there were new charges filed against Kouri for the attempted murder. So now, not only did they charge her, obviously, with the murder of her husband that happened in March 2022, but the Valentine's Day sandwich, they have now charged her with attempted murder. Exactly. I say the same thing. Good. And then this also came out around the same time. Like I said, my head has been spinning basically since March, just because as they're getting ready to start the trial and things have been, documents have been dropping, we are just seeing one thing after another. This one blew my mind though. Kouri Richins' mom, Lisa Darden, may have helped her daughter plan the murder of Eric, and this is according to a statement made by a county sheriff's investigator. So, they're digging into the family, obviously. They find out that Lisa Darden, Kouri's mom, actually had a romantic partner also mysteriously die from an overdose back in 2006, And then Darden got all of the partner's estate.
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
Does that sound familiar?
Yeah, it sure damn does. Sure
Right?
do damn does sound familiar.
This blew my mind. So Lisa Darden has not been charged with anything, but they did put out a statement. Like the sheriff investigator put out a statement saying, well, in this suspicious
tick
and
tick tock.
It's crazy. And if it couldn't get any crazier, they found text messages.
Of course.
Prosecutors found text messages between Kouri and who they are calling her quote-unquote paramour, which I had to look this word up, but it apparently just means like a lover, extramarital affair, kind of illicit relationship lover. They use the word paramour, whatever. Kouri's affair, which is just, again, crazy because she tried to say that Eric was the one cheating. Meanwhile, they literally have text messages between Kouri and this guy on February 14th, the day that she
fed him a sandwich.
Day that she allegedly poisoned a sandwich. Alleged. This is all alleged. She's on trial for this, remember? The day that she allegedly poisoned her husband's sandwich, she was making plans to go meet her lover elsewhere. Mm-hmm. And then the night of Eric Richins' death, her lover dude texted her a picture of two people kissing, captioned, "Love you." And she allegedly responded, "Love you," on the night that she allegedly poisoned her husband. Wow.
I'm going to go in and edit out every time you said allegedly. Just kidding.
Don't. We'll get sued.
Just kidding.
Oh, man. So that all happened in March of this year, y'all. All of that came out because, things were, as the trial is getting ready to start, it was literally supposed to start like any day now. As the trial is getting ready to start, things are coming out, documents are being filed, yada, yada, yada. Then, just last month, and I'm talking like a few weeks ago, her lawyers dropped out of the case.
They sure did. When I saw this article, I probably dropped my phone, fumbled it, tossed it, turned it, because I was trying to send it to Heather as fast as I possibly could. Like, did you see this? Did you see that? I was like, of course.
This is wow. So her lawyers requested to be withdrawn from the case due to, quote, irreconcilable and non-waivable situation. This happens days after they filed a motion to the court for all the prosecutors to be dismissed. So basically, they file for all the prosecutors to be dismissed, especially the lead prosecutor. They say they shouldn't be allowed to be on the case. And then that doesn't work. And then they ask to be removed from the case. So this is from what I understand after reading all this. Obviously, I'm only limited to what comes out in the articles, but one of Kouri's attorneys was supposed to use an app anytime he spoke to her while she has been in jail, right? This app is used to safeguard client-attorney privilege because we know that jailhouse calls are recorded, right? They can be recorded. They're allowed to be used. But obviously, if you're talking to your attorney via a jailhouse phone, some of that and most of that should be client-attorney privileged information, meaning it shouldn't be recorded and it shouldn't be, used. So in order to keep that from happening, the lawyer is supposed to use an app whenever they call their client. This lawyer didn't.
Gotcha.
So the lawyer did not use the app. The prosecutors were able to recorded all her calls, and they had these client attorney calls recorded. According to the prosecutors, they never listened to these recorded calls but they were recorded because they just, my guess is they have all of her calls tapped, right? Just, because she's still in contact with her family and stuff. And
Yeah.
if you guys remember back when I gave the update, there was this whole thing about a letter that she was writing a book. She told her brother, yada, yada, yada. Yeah. Right. So they probably have all her stuff tapped. And so if you want to avoid being tapped, you need to use this app because you're a lawyer and you need to protect client attorney privilege. Okay. So what I'm guessing happened is there is a recorded conversation somewhere out there that supposedly the prosecutors haven't listened to, but could have listened to, where Kouri most likely, and this is all my opinion, you guys, I'm not saying this is what happened, but my guess is Kouri said something incriminating, or the lawyer said something incriminating. Either way, it's on a record somewhere, and now
they don't want it out there. Yeah,
they can't defend her properly, knowing with the whole world knowing that they know the truth. So, right. So this is why the defense called for the prosecutors to be dismissed. They said these prosecutors, like, pretty much they weren't supposed to record this call, and the prosecutors are saying, if you don't want us to record a call, you have to use the app. It's not our fault that your lawyers didn't use an app. So when nothing happened clearly about asking them, the prosecutors, to get dismissed, they just take themselves off the case. The judge allowed it. A few days after the judge allowed the defense to step down, Kouri Richins makes a statement, which she's been mostly quiet. Most of her statements have obviously come through her lawyers, but she did make a statement officially to Dateline. I mean, seemingly she's no longer represented by this defense team, so she takes it on her own. She makes a statement to Dateline. In her statement, she said her defense team's withdrawal was not her choice. It was not her attorney's choice, but they're backed into a corner. And in my opinion, again, I'm just betting something incriminating is on those recordings, and now they can't represent her. Yeah. So
we shall see.
Yeah. The other thing that I was reading her statement, the other thing that sticks out to me is she talks about an innocent woman being taken away from her kids, and how, they're doing everything they can to, throw the book at her, blah, 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 blah. She follows this up with saying, this is war. And it's just, I mean, look, if you're innocent, I get the mentality of being upset and being angry about a situation, especially if you're innocent. Is she innocent?
No.
You know what? Allegedly. You guys can decide for yourself. But the fact that she goes on about how you guys are taking an innocent mother away from from her children. I just want to be with my kids, and then to be like, it's war. Like, maybe focus on your kids, dude. Like, come on. So it's just, so obviously this whole thing with her now no longer being represented by this defense team who has been with her since the beginning, and who also, mind you, I believe is the same defense team who was representing her in the several civil cases that she has against her, which I don't know, maybe they're still going to represent her in the civil cases. They've just bowed out of the criminal charges. I don't know. It's obviously going to push the trial back even further. Right. So we will see what happens, but there's just so much to unpack here. And I feel so bad for Eric's family who has had to deal with this, because they even found text messages. Rachel, get this. They found text messages to her lover talking about how she punched the sister in the face, right? You remember that when they were arguing over the estate? Yep. Because Eric, very smart and rightfully so, left everything, took Kouri off.
Yeah, she
right? Left everything to the sister.
And the sister was like, no, bitch.
Yeah, so, which was a very smart move on his part, obviously. But I feel so bad for him. I feel so bad for their two boys who are just like in the middle of this. I just, hope that their family is keeping them sheltered and, just in a happy bubble, because they don't need to be exposed to this crap. Like, this
Right,
is
right.
insane.
Yeah, it is insane. And it's crazy because, we're both mothers. And too often we are talking about and hearing about mothers. We can talk about Brian Laundrie's mom. We can talk about Kouri Richins' mom. We could talk about Wendy Adelson's mom, right? And we
Yeah.
can talk about these moms allegedly, or some of them actually convicted already. But
Right.
it's the fact that they're going out of their way to help their child. Okay,
Yeah.
supposedly help their child. I would help Kenzie to not do that.
Yeah.
I would help her to not make that decision.
Yeah.
Like, what is happening here?
And
right?
that's what makes me so upset.
And some are the masterminds.
Yes. Some
Jesus.
of them are the ones putting these things in action. Some of them are the ones allegedly. But then you think about the fact that, okay, Kouri Richins is a mother of 2 boys.
Right.
Donna Adelson. Okay, so Wendy Adelson is a mother of 2 boys.
Right.
These grandmothers who allegedly are involved, you know what? Sorry. Your child is beyond help. Okay? Sorry. That's done and over with. You now need and have a responsibility to those children. Right. Those are your grandchildren. They are also your flesh and blood, your children. They have not made a mistake. You need to be there for them.
Yeah, you want to know how you can help your child? By helping their children. By making sure that their children are safe and taking care of their children.
That's exactly my point. Yeah. Instead of helping allegedly cover up a murder, instead of helping allegedly plan a murder, instead of be there for your grandchildren who need somebody stable.
Yep.
Maybe don't. If your ass is not stable, just go ahead and do what you're doing and stay out of their life. But like,
yeah. Ooh, mom rant. Mama rant.
Sorry. I get so heated. When I was reading about Kouri Richins' mom, I was like, this is just, you know what we say? And in the words of Liam, there are no coincidences in this shit. This is insane.
No, it is crazy. Yeah. All right. Well, there you guys have it for some of our updates. And probably let's do a little thing. Whoever could tell me how many times we just said allegedly in our updates right there, maybe I'll send you a little gift. Let me know.
One of my favorite shirts at CrimeCon was a lady. She had, it was so simple and eloquent, and I loved it. It was just a plain black shirt, white writing, allegedly, period. I was like,
love it.
I need that shirt.
Should we make one and put it on our website where it's just like, and it's a
just says
one?
Allegedly.
I love it. I got to do that. We're totally stealing that idea.
It was the best. I was like, I need that shirt. We need to just have that like as part of our tagline. Allegedly.
Yes. Yep. Love it. All right. So today, we are also going to be getting into some shout-outs. Shout-outs. We love this part. We do a lot of communicating and talking, sometimes working alongside, growing with other podcasters and other people in this podcasting community. And so we're going to shout out a couple different people. And I'm going to go first. Yes, I am.
Go, girl.
Yes, I am. So I need to shout out Trevin and Amanda and their podcast, Live, Laugh, Larceny. So Live, Laugh, Larceny is a true petty crime podcast. And they talk about petty crimes or petty criminals, and they do it in a very dramatic way, okay? They will write their stories based on the crime, and then they will tell it in all of the glory, like in the most, in the most amazing dramatized way. But on top of that, they also add sound effects and music right? Put into the entire episode. And it's just pure comedic genius.
Mm-hmm.
They are both so talented at what they do. And Trevin is a master at his craft, you guys. When it comes to producing the episode and mixing all of the sounds into the episodes, not only do I recommend their podcast to the highest degree possible, both hosts, Amanda and Trevin, are so amazing. They're such amazing people. So 1 billion, cajillion, fulfillion, dadillion out of 10. Okay, go and check them out. You guys, go check them out at Live Laugh Larceny. And I can vouch for the fact that they are great people. We met them. We got to meet them at CrimeCon. They were there. He is also going to be in Denver for the True Crime Podcast Festival that's going to be going on there.
Nice.
So if you guys are in that area, go to that. Go say hi to them. But how did Amanda say it? I know how they say it. I can hear it all the time, and my brain's having like this little funk. But like,
what part?
something about like, don't get heavy and come get petty, or when what is it? Why can't I do their tagline right now? Like, this is gonna piss me off. They're totally gonna judge my life right now. It's fine. But you guys go over there for all your petty true crime stuff. They are absolutely amazing. And right now I'm gonna play their promo for you guys so you can get a little glimpse into what and who they are.
Do you find true crime podcasts too murdery?
Do you hate true crime altogether?
Has that pesky day job kept you from the life of crime you've been dreaming of?
Do you breathe oxygen?
If you've answered yes to any of these questions, then we have the podcast for you.
Live Laugh Larceny, a true petty crime podcast, brings the drama to dumb criminal stories, presenting each crime as a fully produced short story.
Our variety show podcast has it all. Sound effects, parody songs, terrible reenactments, and did we mention drama?
Join us, Amanda and Trevin, each Wednesday as we share our dreadful dilemmas, killer facts, and then jump into the sick and twisted world of petty crimes.
We're talking old people fights, scorned lovers, and people solving their problems with feces.
That's enough with the listing. Let's roll the clip.
Thank you all for joining us today as we announce the gender of our little peanut.
Cheryl shouted out.
I'm not sure what exactly Anthony came up with for this reveal, but he has told me to warn you all to please step back and plug your ears. So if you'll all join me in a countdown, 3, 2, 1.
It was at that moment a gigantic explosion erupted from the ground below at the quarry. Releasing immense amounts of pressure out into the air, the boom sent chunks of earth flying, and panic to spread throughout the event. Shockwaves rattled the foundation in which guests stood, and didn't stop there. Traveling at rapid speed, cracks in the earth began to spread throughout a 20-mile radius, causing pictures to fall off of nearby home walls and turning tap water a murky brown color. You can find Live Laugh Larceny on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Bye.
See ya.
All right.
Love it.
That's that for them. Who you got today?
Love
Heather,
it.
who you shouting out?
I want to shout out a girl who just works her ass off and who we also met for the first time at CrimeCon.
Yes.
And she's just amazing. I just finished binging season 2 of her one of her projects. So I'm going to shout out Jen Rivera and The Unseen Truth specifically.
Yes.
So The Unseen Truth, like I said, 2 seasons are out. You can listen to it all wherever you get your podcast. The first season was about Stacey Colbert, who that story, that case, just tragic. And then the second one, I was just getting physically pissed about Max DeVries. And Jen does an amazing job making the case about the victim and getting information from the victim's family, and just really, and that season 2, I could not stop listening, and it made me so upset and so mad. And it boggles my brain that no one has been held accountable for this, because it's such bull. It's such bull. And then the other thing that I really just want to say about Jen is not only does she talk the talk, she walks the walk. So Jen also has a nonprofit organization called Shores of Strength, where she is providing resources for victims and their families, community support, just a way for the victims and their families to have, a community, a home. And so it's called Shores of Strength. And she actually just recently appointed a VP, Jules. We all know Jules. We True Crime and Headlines with Jen and Jules now. It's just all just becoming a wonderful true crime family. And it's just amazing that Jen not only is sharing the stories, which we all should do because everyone deserves justice, deserves to have their stories told, but also that she is, putting it out there. She has the Shores of Strength in order to provide a community, to provide resources for these families. So just shout out to Jen. She does absolutely amazing things, and just so proud of you and everything you're doing, and just keep it up.
There are over 300,000 cases that are unsolved or have gone cold in the United States alone. That number increases by over 6,000 every year, ranging from homicides to missing persons to undetermined deaths. Families are lacking answers about what happened to their loved ones, victims lacking justice. My name is Jen Rivera, and I'm an investigative journalist and true crime podcaster on a mission to give victims a voice, while diving into the unseen realm of true crime cases. From cases that dominated the headlines to those that you're not hearing about in the media. Join me as I dive deep into the haunting narratives of these cases. Each season, I'll be investigating a new case and advocating for victims through well-researched, ethically conducted storytelling, always keeping the victim's voice at the heart. The Unseen Truth is my passion project, the true unification of my education, career, superpowers, and interests, all in one podcast, covering cases from my home state in the Midwest and beyond. With a mix of documentary-style production and narrative episodes, I interview surviving family and friends and get insight from detectives and valuable sources that know these cases best. I'm unveiling the secrets in the shadows. I'm Jen Rivera, and this is The Unseen Truth. Available wherever you get your podcasts.
Yep. Keep it up. Keep it up. Keep. Okay. I'm insane. It's fine. Okay, let's end this. We are just going to do one question because I need to get out of here. I have things that I need to go do and live my life. But for our Q&A portion, we had someone write in a question late last night of favorite episode of ours and of a podcast you're currently listening to. So, Heather, you go first on both of those things for me, please.
What? For both? Why are you putting me on the spot? Okay, I feel like when we have been asked this question a couple times on what's our favorite episode of our own, and I used to always say the Wanda Holloway, because obviously that one has always been one of my favorites, especially like wine time. Yeah. But if I'm talking about more recently, one thing I want to I'm not gonna say like a single episode. I'm gonna say like a vibe of ours, I feel, especially since we're almost a year now where we have officially been like Mother Like Murder.
Yes,
and
girl.
We've really been focusing on the true crime. And one thing I will say is that you have always been very good at bringing the unsolved ones and advocating for those unsolved and making sure. And then I have more recently brought up my courage and able to tackle those, even though they're very hard to research. And sometimes when, like the one we just put out with Winnie, how there is just such a ridiculous lack of information, it's so frustrating that there's no closure for these families. So I'm just very proud of us that we've started to do that a lot more and really started trying to advocate for these cases, for solving these cases. And yeah, I'm just proud of us for that. So that's been like my favorite thing. That's been my favorite thing recently.
I love that.
And then what have I been listening to lately?
Well, I'll make a comment while you think about what you were listening.
you
I
do
was
that.
going to say, it's one of those things too, for anyone that's been listening, it's very clear. This is our hobby podcast. We started this as two moms, two friends who wanted to talk more and had this mutual, just listening, this engagement with true crime that we would do, and it became something that we had with each other, and that's where this stemmed from. And so yeah, it did start as this hobby podcast, and it still is what we do, and that's what it is. I have to say it that way. But we have grown so much in that area, in how we tell our stories, why we tell our stories, and really who we're talking about, and the way that we bring it. So I just gotta say, I love that. I love that part as well, Heather. Get there. All right. Well, you're you're ready? I saw you open your mouth.
I
Go,
am.
girl.
So I recently, this is a podcast. I feel like we recently shouted it out, but perplexity.
A mystery podcast.
I feel like I always say it wrong.
There's an L
You
in
say it.
there. Perplexity, a mystery podcast.
Thank you. So
You're
she recently did one on Hitler and all the conspiracies
did.
surrounding his death and or not death.
Yeah.
I have always been very interested in kind of, there's a lot of just, obviously the atrocities around World War II were just, ridiculous, obviously. But there's always been a lot of, unknowns when it comes to what was going on behind the scenes. And I've always found that very interesting, especially like the political part of it and, why people chose to do certain things certain ways. And so I just listened to that episode. It was very well done. She has a lot of great research, and she did a great job. And so I'm digging the perplexity.
Yes. She's awesome. Kadra is amazing. And one thing, look, I always have something to say about what you say. So what I'll say about her is she has not given up on us or me in my communication when it comes to, we will eventually be working together. We will be collabing. And I have been such a douche. I've just been so lame at responding, you guys. And I'm going to do better, I promise. But it has to do with this funk, this block that we keep talking about, that I'm doing so much. It's not that we're not working. It's just that the social, I think because we did so much social, my social engagement has been just plummeted, right? And so it's like, I'm going to get back there. I promise. Yeah. So thank you, Kadra. All right. So for me, I was doing no thinking when it comes to what my favorite episode of ours is.
It's hard.
It is hard. I really do, I feel like I enjoy the lighthearted where we get to show a little bit more of us and talk about things in the open dialogue conversation ways that we like to do that. I also just truly enjoy bringing the facts and just straight evidence and all of those and getting down to the point as well. So it really depends on which Rachel woke up that morning. Okay. Currently, I guess, here, let me go to I don't listen to us. Time to listen to us when I'm listening to everyone else.
I know, I was scrolling
What
through
have we
ours and I
put
was
out
like,
recently?
I don't even know.
Okay. Yeah. So instantly, Amber Hagerman has to be one of the ones. And I think that comes from a different perspective as well. I truly do go out of my way to actively avoid doing children cases.
Yeah.
And so putting myself into the ones that, even when I did JC Lee Dugard, anytime I cover a child, it's so different and affects me in such a different way. And so for that, for her, telling her story and just talking about her mom and everything, I guess for me, that would be one of my favorites as of right now. And then when it comes to the podcasts that I'm currently listening to, you guys, the rap sheet gets longer every single day. There's too many. There's too many podcasts that I listen to. I can't even keep up with my own life when it comes to that. But I will say this question came from Crime to Burn. So I am going to give that moment there as well. And it does come from a place of enjoyment as well. So I'm not just doing this because she was the one who wrote this question, but April, the host of Crime to Burn, I'm not really good with words. So she was a firefighter and did like fire engineering safety and stuff like that. And so her podcast is because of that and that kind of like where she was and what she's doing right now. Now she's full on homesteading, doing that kind of different life and podcasting as well. And she does it with her husband. And first of all, his little remarks and his funniness, they do like a blooper thing at the end of the episodes that are absolutely hilarious. She'll love the fact if I just put go listen so you can hear the motorboating story. But like she's doing it's a deep dive. It's a long form on the Benson car bombings. And it's crazy. So there's only 2 episodes out as of right now. I think she said it was going to be 7 total. But as soon as I finish the episode, I am already needing the next one. And the waiting game for me is very hard. But it does give me that time to want it more. So I guess thanks for that craving that you have just put into my being. It is insane, Heather. You have to go listen. And the family dynamics and just how twisted and messed up. And I will say the second episode was about one of the sons. And to know that the next episode is about another son and it's even more twisted and crazy, I just don't even know how to deal with all of this. So I highly recommend that. That is Crime to Burn. You guys can find that wherever you're getting your podcasts. She's also over on Instagram. She's awesome. Such a hype queen right there. So go and check her out. Crime to Burn.
Love it.
Do that.
Love it.
Love it. All right. We both have to go and work and live our other lives outside of our podcasting life. There you have it for your updates, your shout outs, and your little mini Q&A. If you guys have any questions or if you guys have any updates you see on stuff that we've covered, send them our ways. And also, you're amazing. And we freaking think you're great. And I hope that your guys' summer and your children are behaving more than our children are behaving.
Good luck.
And we hope that you're not recording your episode and you got to pause for 20 minutes to go see why your daughter's crying because she thought she found a dead bird and the remote was hidden. Oh, is that just my life? Okay.
I
Enjoy
bet you
your
there's someone somewhere who's dealing with the exact same thing.
Yep, is what it is. Mom life.
Mom life.
Right, we will talk to you guys next week. Okay, love you. Bye.
Okay, love of you. Bye. Yeah.
Hey. Hey.
Hey.
Okay, I'm done. All right, I gotta get out.